welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your boy, Dr. Rajesh, multiple scholarship winner and currently a research professor in Korea. So this video is all about the criteria or tips you can use when you are applying for a postdoctoral position and a PhD in order to join What are the things you need to consider? And one thing which lots of candidates or lots of students do not usually assume or think about is the supervisor or the boss or the person you are going to be working with. You know, it's very important, and it also depends on what part of the world you are going to do your postdoctorate positions or maybe your PhD. For example, if you are coming to research within an Asian community, it's very important you get to consider that the culture to the boss you're going to work with, is this someone who has ever been to a Western country before to do his PhD or associate professor position before owning his lab? Because these are aspects that will go a long way to affect you whether you like it or not once you start your postdoc position or your PhD. For example, again, if you're going to study or you're going to work in, let's say I'm currently in Korea, I think the same apply for the Tiger Asian countries: Korea, Japan, China, Taiwan, Singapore, you can name the other ones. It applies the same. If these are fellows who have never left their country and all their career has been within that country, they will expect you to be at work early enough, and even when it is work over, you do not leave the office before them in some cases. So, and if you leave before that, regardless of how much productive you are, you'll be considered as being underproductive. It is just the Asian culture within these tiger countries. And also in some of them, language too might be a problem, a barrier. So you find it difficult to communicate within them, or sometimes when you have some technical problems, you will find it very difficult to maybe approach them in one way or the other. So it will really be challenging if you're coming to do your postdoc and you did not start your PhD in that country, or if you're just coming to start your PhD and you did not do your master in that country. I know of lots of cases whereby lots of students or candidates have come and they have abandoned it halfway just because they couldn't, have a very good relationship with these professors. Not that the professors are bad, they are really excellent in their field. If you're able to be a professor in any of this country, it means you're top in your field, you're an expert, you know what to do, and you've been dealing with students. It might just be an issue of culture. So it's very important you consider that. But if you are in the West, for example, Europe, America, that kind of applies, but you can sometimes leave the office beforehand. It all depends on who is your supervisor or who is in charge. So you also have to consider that too as well. And you might have also lots of time to with your supervisor, because English will not really be a barrier in that case. So again, also, if you're joining a postdoc, there are different types of postdoctorates. There are some which you bring your fundings and you look for a lab. In Asian countries, Tiger Asian countries, you do not look for funding, but you join a project which already has fundings. So when you're joining it, it's also important to check, because if you're joining a lab whereby the professor has a history of having very short funding, you might start in 1 year, and when you get adapted already, he will tell you he doesn't have fundings again for the next year. So it is expected for you to quit or leave the lab. Or sometimes you might be joining when the fundings are coming to an end, so you kind of like stay for just 6 months or 3 months, and it becomes pretty challenging to you. Do not be excited by the salary or the paycheck you receive at this level, at your level of your PhD or at the level of your postdoc. Be more triggered by the science. It's very important, because this is a career step in your life which will define your relationship as you go further and forward. Because some people get excited immediately after PhD. You get excited that you're getting into the job market. The offers are are pretty appealing, but you start doing some science, and sometimes you find yourself gone and time is gone. And I had this chat with a fellow colleague yesterday where I was telling them PhD expires after 3 years, and she was so blown. Yes, based on my findings, I can confidently say your PhD will expire after 3 years, in the sense that if you do not move further upward in the ladder, it will become very difficult for you to even have a postdoc position or even a job. So think wisely, be conscious, and know what you really want. So if you love this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, hit on the subscription button, and stay connected, for I'll be bringing you more content on how you can search for jobs, internships, scholarships, and all of that, because it's always an information sharing mechanism or procedure. We need to keep updating each other. It's very, very important. And then another case is that, before I leave, one tip is, if you're interested in publishing lots of papers, and you join a lab where the professor, maybe he doesn't care much about publishing, then that could be an issue with you too. So join a lab whereby publications are vibrant. Like personally, I love my lab because my boss, he's very triggered by publishing. He publishes a lot, and I was looking forward to a group whereby publication is top key and to him that is priority. So I like it here. I don't really mind much about the pay, but it's exciting. So think about it when you're applying or looking for fundings. So, or in some cases, you can even email the lab members beforehand, but it's very kind. It will be polite for you to ask your boss to be, if you can reach your students and get somebody opinions about the lab, or you can just ask people around. They'll definitely tell you. Good work, good researchers, and good professors will go by without being unnoticed or untalked about. So if you love this video, again, give me a thumbs up. Bye. See you in my next video.